Okay, welcome to this exam question from the 2018 series. This is about the binomial expansion and it's from the AS exam. Okay, so we have to provide the first three terms in ascending powers of x of this expression here. And we're also given in the green formula booklet the binomial expansion for a plus b to the n. And here it is. So we're basically substituting a, b and n with 2, negative x over 16 and 9. And this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so we're going to start with a to the n, which in this case is going to be 2 to the power 9. Okay, 2 to the power 9. Okay, then we're following that with 9c1, which is just 9, and then it's 2 to the power of 8. You need to put the 2 in a brackets there, and times that by b, which of course is negative x over 16. So negative x over 16. Okay, and that goes in its own bracket too. Okay, don't be tempted to do too much simplifying at this stage, especially when minus signs are involved. And the third term is 9c2, which on the calculator is 36. Okay, and that's times by 2 to the power 7 and negative x over 16 all squared. So that bit's squared. Okay. And then it would go on after that, but you don't need to add any more terms. Now we just got to tidy this up, and 2 to the 9 is 512. Okay, 9 times 2 to the 8 divided by 16 will give me 144, and the minus will give me minus 144x. Okay, and the last term is made of 36 times 2 to the 7 over 16 squared. Well, 16 squared is 256, 2 to the 7 is 128. So that's 128 over 256, which is a half. Half of 36 is 18. It's positive because it's x squared. So it's plus 18 x squared. Okay, but do take care that those terms are correct. Okay, because if one of them is wrong, the rest of the question would fail. Okay, so that's the first three terms as required, and we've given each term in simplest form. Now we've got to note that the expansion of that we've just done, multiplied by a plus b to the x, gives us a function f of x, where the first term is 128 and the second term is 36x. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this out. Okay. Literally write it out as it is. So this is part B. That was part A. Okay. Okay. So for part B and part C, really, I'll probably be doing them together. Okay. So for part B and part C, okay, I'm going to do a plus b to the x, a plus bx, and that has to be multiplied by, now I'm only interested in the first two terms of this expansion, right? The 512 and the minus 144x, okay? Because I'm only interested in the first term of the expansion and the second term, which is the x term. All right. Now those two terms are going to come from 3 of these 4 products. So I don't even need the last product here because that's going to give me x squared, which I'm not interested in. And if I carried on with this expansion and used this one, I would be going into x cubed, which I'm not interested in either. So I only actually need to do 3 of the 4 products from this bracket. Okay, so I need to do the a times the 512. Okay, so that's 512 A, okay? So 512A, okay? The next term I'm interested in will be the 512 times the B, x, okay? So let's just put that in there. So I've got plus 512bx. Okay, that's giving me one of the x terms, or part of the x term that I'm going to need. And I'm also going to get a third term I'm interested in, which is going to be a times this term here. Okay, a times 144x, which is 144ax. Okay. And as I said, the term bx times 144x would be x squared, and I'm not interested in that. And this part is going to have to equal 128 plus 36x. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is group together all the numbers that don't involve x, and then I'm going to group together all the x terms and equate coefficients. So from this I can say that 512a, okay, that's the only part that gives me a number with no x term, okay, and the x term comes from 512b, okay, minus 144a. Okay, and if I put those together like that in a bracket and times them by x, that's basically what these last two terms here are telling us. And that equals 128, okay, plus 36x. Now, I'm just going to equate coefficients. It's very easy. So essentially what I'm going to do here is take this part here. Let's choose a different color. Let's have this orangey color here. So the 512 is going to be equal to, the 512a is going to be equal to 128. And the 512b minus 144a is going to equal 36. So I just use that information to solve those equations. Well, if I just take the a term, 512a equals 128. Okay, so 512a equals 128. Well, that gives me that a is a quarter. Okay, a equals 1/4. And now I know that, I can substitute that in here for a here. So I can say that 512b, okay, minus a quarter of 144, which is 36, must equal 36. Okay, well, add 36 to both sides and divide by 512. b would equal 72 over 512. Okay, and the numerator and denominator of that divide down to give me that b equals 9 over 64. Okay, 9/64. Okay, so I have answered both parts B and C at the same time, but that's often the case with these kinds of questions. All right, so quite a straightforward question, but you've got to be very careful with these to make sure that you don't go wrong with a negative sign. Okay, so I'll just put here part C, I think, just to show that I've answered it as well. Okay, and that's it.